UNIFISH fish breeding company, which is one of the most established Armenian companies, expands its activities under the umbrella of the biblical mountain Ararat in the beautiful and sunny Ararat Valley that carries the footsteps of Noah. It has been founded in 2006-2007, and within several years it managed to get firmly established, developed and widely recognized not only in Armenia, but also in Russia and other countries. Still in 2002, in the basin of the Lake Sevan, next to the village Ganzak, a fish breeding farm was founded with the purpose to breed two subspecies of Sevan trout, Gerarkunik and summer trout. The water temperature of the used deep well water enables to successfully incubate the caviar and grow young fish with the purpose of further commercial breeding, selling to other farms and pouring into the Lake Sevan within the government program. Since spring 2006, we have started the construction of fish farms for trout and sturgeon. Within the government program of maintaining the fish pool in 2006-2008, some activities have been performed to restore the Sevan indigenous species, Gerarkunik and summer trout. In 2009, the trout production exceeded 230 tons. One can say for sure that at present, UNIFISH fish breeding company, with its magnitude, its technical equipment, its rich fish production reserves, is considered to be one of the largest fish breeding companies not only in Armenia but also in the region and in the world. It consists of several farms where we have introduced advanced international technologies necessary for fish breeding. For commercial purposes, we breed for endemic species, Gerarkuni, river trout, as well as from imported species, rainbow trout and Russian sturgeon.
Ինչն էր պատճառը, որ հիմնվեցին երկու տարբեր ձկնատեսակների տնտեսություններ։
What was the reason standing behind the establishment of two farms of different fish species? The primary reason was the water temperature. As you know, in Ararat Valley, the fish farms mostly use deep waters. The water temperature in sturgeon farm is 18 to 19 degrees Celsius, which is excellent and ensures high growth, whereas in salmon farm, where the water temperature is 13 to 15 degrees Celsius, the maximal growth for salmon species is ensured. The farms established 2 years ago, which were supposed to provide with seedlings to sturgeon and salmon farms, are farms for breeding young fish. Those farms are also narrowly specialized, and their overall capacity is calculated in a way to ensure the future expansion of both sturgeon and salmon species production. The specialists confirm that the taste of the local fish is unique, while the fish itself is much better and, most importantly, organically clean. In 2006, we built up the farm for sturgeons. Today, the overall water surface is more than 123,000 square meters. Currently, we breed 3 to 5 species of sturgeons in the farm: Siberian sturgeon, beluga, Siberian and Russian hybrid, as well as Russian sturgeon and samples of Savruga species. In the experimental areas, we also breed Japanese carp species to get delicate meat as well as for decorative purposes. The farm is a complex system which represents 4 workshops for young fish growing and 2 workshops of growing for different species of fish and young fish, as well as areas for growing mothers and replenishments. Capacities envisaged for incubation and young fishes workshops enable to grow more than 850,000 seedlings of sturgeon. The water to the farm's ponds is supplied from 29 deep wells, where the water temperature is permanently 14 to 18 degrees Celsius, and in its purity and quality is very close to drinking water. We fully use the Ararat Valley deep well sterile water, and in regard of the temperature, it is constantly the same irrespective of the weather conditions, which enables the fish farm, in contrast to the others, to work all year round without interruption.
Հիմնական տարբերությունը մյուս երկրներում, այլ երկրներում կատարվող ձկնաբուծական աշխատանքների կայանում է նրանում, որ
The main difference of fish breeding activities performed in other countries is that here in Ararat Valley, the temperature of deep well waters is constant and all year round we yield consonant growth. If, for example, the growth of the fish bred on non-deep well waters, in the rivers in 200 or 300 grams per year for rainbow trout, then within 12 months from the fish egg we receive 1 kilo heavy fish. The same is about the endemic species, Գեղարքուն and summer trout and the river trout. Our farm uses European certified combined feed envisaged for sturgeons and salmons. It is free of growth biostimulators and genetically modified additives. At present, the production capacities of UNIFISH company of sturgeon volumes constitute around 1,200 to 1,500 tons and 600 to 800 tons in regard of salmon species. From the local fish species, we here breed Sevan Գեղարքունի, summer trout, and river trout, Կարմրախայտ. Currently, the overall surface of the water ponds envisaged for the salmons is more than 35,000 square meters. The overall surface of the incubation workshop is 2,200 square meters, with more than 1.8 million seedlings annual capacity.
Մենք գտնվում ենք UNIFISH ֆիրմայի սահմանոբուծական տնտեսության մանրաձգական աճեցման արտադրամասում.
We are in the young fish growing workshop of salmon breeding farm of UNIFISH company, where they breed 4 species of fish: rainbow trout, golden trout, which is a subspecies of the rainbow trout, Sevan Գեղարքունի and summer trout subspecies, as well as river trout that lives in our rivers. The major production is yielded from the rainbow trout. We produce Գեղարքունի and summer trout subspecies mostly for pouring them into the Lake Sevan, and for commercial purposes we breed river trout. The production cycle for the rainbow trout is up to 12 months, and for Sevan trout, summer trout and river trout from 18 to 22 months. Annually, the workshop yields 1.8 million young fish up to 10 gram heavy, which is enough to fill in our ponds, as well as to sell the other farms and seedlings. Currently, the productivity of the ponds is 20 to 22 kilos using air enrichment, aerators. However, in the forthcoming future, in the second half of this year, we envisage to introduce oxygen equipment, which will enable to steeply increase the productivity without using additional water. In this case, the productivity will be up to 80 kilos from each square meter. There are plots of land designated for commercial breeding of fish, as well as for mother flock and replenishment. Here, the water supply is also on the gravity system, and currently the water is supplied from more than 10 deep wells. The quality water, with constant temperature envisaged for trout growing, the combined feed with currently vitamin-mineral compound of pertinent balance, and favorably sunny weather conditions of Ararat Valley, enable to get trout from half up to 1.5 kilos heavy trout in less than 12 months. In our farm, we permanently work over introducing and growing new species. Currently, we work on further expansion, strengthening, and modernizing of the farm. Among the crucial projects of 2011 are constructions of 2 new farms, one of which will be only for breeding young fish that will uninterruptedly provide the farms of the company only with young fish. That will also enable to sell young fish. It must have 2 hectares of land surface, and 1.5 must be the water pond, on the basis of which we will build up the young fish production. And the next farm is planned only for trout species. It will occupy an area of 6 hectares, where there will be large ponds for the mother flock of sturgeon and where they will fed and kept for the winter time in special conditions. As a result, activities will be performed to get black edible caviar and organize its sustainable production. The goal of the company is to get the production of black and red caviar and young fish. Currently, the company is exactly on this track, which will also foster the fish meat production. In 2011-2013, one of the main projects of UNIFISH will be the introduction of new technologies in the fish breeding farms in order to be able to expand the commercial fish production without increasing the water volumes. In 2011, we intend to introduce the liquid oxygen technology, which will allow us to increase production capacities and to get 6 to 8 times more fish from the unit square without increasing the volumes of water and water surface. In the newly building farms, we plan to introduce an automated feeding system of German production. One of the forthcoming projects of the company is to steeply increase the mother flock of both sturgeons and salmons and to set up caviar production. In autumn 2010, on the experimental basis, the company yielded high-quality edible caviar of salmons, and already in autumn 2011, we will have a large flock of mothers, which will enable to yield a big amount of edible caviar. The sturgeon caviar is still few and sufficient only for reproduction. However, to get edible caviar, the company has 40,000 mother flocks, as a result of which, in 2012, 2013 and 2014, UNIFISH intends to enter CIS as well as large international market with edible black caviar with relevant quality standards. For this purpose, the company has already established its subsidiary company in Moscow. The fish bred in UNIFISH, no matter where it is exported or sold, differs with its high taste and nutritious qualities. In 2012, the annual production capacities of UNIFISH will reach the level of 2,500 tons, and at the same time it functions in open cycle. And naturally, the caviar produced here, as the specialists come to witness, is completely different from the caviar of the farms working in closed cycle. As compared with the countries of the Caucasus, the Republic of Armenia is #1 in fish breeding, and this amounts more than 7,000 tons, indeed, in regard of different species. This kind of fish breeding farms, which all year round can yield a respective growth, do not exist at all. In the beginning of September 2010, we launched a modern factory of shock freezing from a leading Japanese producer, Daikin. This factory enables us to get the highest quality products to the final consumer.
Նորտադության ծավալների մեծացման հետ համատեղ անցյալ տարում կառուցվեցին երկու.
Last year, in parallel with the increase of the production volumes, we built up 2 processing workshops, one of which is producing frozen fish and the second one, deeper freezing. It is called shock freezing, and such a workshop has no equivalent in the South Caucasus. The main purpose is to export, because the local market mostly accepts live fish. There are some projects to produce smoked and smoke-dried fish. There are just pilot projects to explore the market to follow up in the future. In Armenia, we sell live fish distributed by our own vehicles to the consumers. UNIFISH Fish Breeding Farm permanently cooperates with the leading Armenian and foreign scientific entities, in particular with the Hydroecological Fish Breeding Institute of the Armenian National Academy of Sciences. We also cooperate with the respective chairs of Yerevan Agrarian University. In other words, we have achievements. However, the major success is still to come. We are looking forward with hope.